Exactly. In fact, we want them to be even a little more dense than normal MMO zones because you don't spend all your time in a red zone. So when you are in one, we really want to make sure that you see other players and ideally even interact with other players. We want to have things like bosses that require a group, or maybe a resource node that lots of people have to contribute to. We probably won't have contraptions in a red zone. That's something we're experimenting with. I'd love to have radiant feats though. We think radiant feats have been such a hit. We'd like to even have them in the dungeons and raids.
I think Radiant Feet's part of the best things. Two things I'd like to bring up quickly, if that's okay. One person in my chat said that borrowed power feels bad, as in you get given something and then you lose it and you don't like that. I would actually say that because blue zones are temporary, the Radiant Feet system, the borrowed power aspect here, is one of the most fun bits because it's so similar to Vampire Survivors or the mobile game Archero, which is about leveling up after every wave. I like the feat system within blue zones because it makes the gameplay a little bit different. But the question that followed was, why are you bothering to show this off now when it seems like it's so far away from release?
Two great questions. Usually the player complaint about borrowed power comes from, I've spent a whole expansion leveling up my, getting better gear, and now you're resetting me down to like trash greens again in the next expansion. Or I leveled up my artifact and now you took it away and that's sad. Like you said, we're hoping the more temporary nature of the Radiant Feats feels like, oh, I get to do it over and over again and that's fun.
This looks good.
Why are we showing it off so early? So MMOs are very hard to make. I would argue it may be the hardest genre of game to make, given how many systems have to work together. And if you get something wrong, it can shortcut the entire, it could make the entire feature, the entire game fit. Like a lot of MMOs have this problem where the leveling experience is pretty cool, and then you get to end game and you're like, well, there's not much here, I guess I'm done. And then we all would say that that MMO is probably a failure. So we are trying to avoid that problem by sharing the game every step of the way so we can look out for potential flaws. Like, I think Radiant Feats are working out really well. The feedback has been good, but for sake of argument, if they really were not fun and they really ruined the game, well, gosh, I'd much rather know that now than after we launch.
It does seem that what we're doing now is we're finding the development threads worth pulling on instead of saying this is definitely going to be in the final game. Blue zones are not going to be representative of the generic MMORPG loop and full gameplay and narrative and permanent world that will be there. But I think blue zones give you probably the best place to experiment. You will level up permanently. You will find permanent gear that goes to the red zone, the full MMO, and the blue zone, the fun little temporary bit, but the Radiant Feats are what allow the blue zones to feel so different.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sitting here reading chat. There's so many good questions in here right now.
Yeah.
Aggression? I could almost assume so, but you guys want to take it?
Let me look through. I'm sure there were a few. I just didn't want to interrupt Josh because he's very good at his job.
He's very good at speaking.
I got one.
Over here.
Josh, do talk.
Builder says, will there be legitimately rare items, either random loot or weapons/armor, not just legendary quality, but something to feel special about having because not everyone has that?
I am a big fan of that feeling. I know not every player is, and it can create really feels bad moments of, I always wanted that one sword and I can just never get it to drop. But I kind of think it's that chase that makes the item feel so valuable.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of value in the what we call the peacocking aspect of walking around town showing off this rare thing. And maybe skill had very little to do with it. I just got lucky, but I think that's cool. And I think it gives games more legs when there's always something more out there that you haven't been able to acquire yet.
My favorite story for that comes from, no disrespect to Destiny, of course, they do their thing with their game, but I love, it really shows the difference. Destiny 1, there was a lot of people who weren't really into MMO or looter games, that one of the biggest complaints I remember was that loot, the uniques, what are they called? Exotic items, exotic weapons were far too rare. But then Destiny 2, they toned it back and exotic weapons were a lot more common. And it was really interesting to me to see that people playing Destiny 2 were like, oh, the exotics are far too common, make them rare. Because it lost that kind of special, reward sense of oh, I got a Gallarhorn, It
is such a difficult balance to hit that sweet spot, because if if you never get the loot you want, like that's frustrating, and then players may churn. But if you get the loot you want too easy, players may say like, well,
oh, it's called Carnage.
So you kind of want to
plays
get that
Destiny
like,
or Warframe,
yeah, maybe tonight I'll get that weapon I've always wanted.
I only know Joe Cat and Josh Strife from this.
So guys, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Have you considered a pity system, as in like with Final Fantasy 14? If you finish, say, a Savage raid 100 times without getting the mount drop, you have tokens that you can turn and just get that mount drop.
Yeah.
I think
Totems.
that general system is a smart one, and something that most MMO designers probably want to embrace, of like just the bad luck protection. And you don't want to be the person that went like 10,000 times to get the item and it never dropped.
Yeah.
You just want to avoid it being so predictable that someone says, well, I know Thursday at 8 p.m. my item's finally going to drop, because then that kind of takes the suspension of disbelief out of like, well, I killed the dragon to see what it was in its hoard.
Just so you guys know, the old school RuneScape Twitch is watching this now. So hi Jagex, hope you guys are doing well.
Really?
So, quick question to Ghost. With these blue zones, it looks like these zones are, first of all, pretty big, and they're going to be randomly.
Wait, what? Old school RuneScape is
when you have an objective like this, we've been running around now for a good bit and haven't really made any progress at all towards our primary objective. I'm assuming, though, that we could have logged in and just happened to go right to it. So that means this adventure could have been 5 minutes, or from the size of this, it looks like it could be like an hour. How are you guys playing with that?
Jagex is watching this.
No, what we want to do with the blue zones is we don't want them to feel completely random. Like, we're not in the procedural generation space of, say, a game like No Man's Sky or even, Starfield or Minecraft. We want to tell a deliberate story. Like, we want there to be a big climax at the end where you fight this dude and have hints along the way to get there. So part of what's going on behind the scenes is that the map places the player's start area and then finds an appropriate area to place the end arena, which is sometimes as far away as possible, but will almost never be like right under the ship. Now, in some cases, if you're brave, you could try to go fight the boss early on before you level up at all, and maybe sometimes you can pull that off, but other times it'll be either the boss is too hard, and it's not even going to always be a boss. If we get to the second zone here, it has a different endgame mechanic. But I think this is Tomag, right? We're going into his lair now, and
final boss
yeah,
of this zone.
fighting a couple of his minions up on this gate here.
I see Josh's stream.
We even want to have some variety in the boss fights. Like, we're not going to go for like a Diablo-like affix system where you never know what you're going to get, but we want to have enough variation that even if you fought this boss
in their playstyle.
Oh, I really am a fan of very different classes. We would love the ship with about 30. I know the team freaks out every time I say that number. But you can see they have fewer. Yeah, 30
Josh
different
is streaming
But
it.
you can see they have far fewer abilities than a game like Final Fantasy. So one way I describe it is vanilla World of Warcraft shipped with, I think, 9 or 10 classes, but each of them had 3 different specializations. So really, they were making about 30 classes at the time.
Are we going to try and do this boss while still chatting? Ready?
Well,
we can take a pause and let you guys strategize.
On that regard, though, doesn't that kind of flip the script? How are you guys doing that and also making tangible, meaningful differences within classes? Or are you taking the more like global approach in general?
First of all, we want the fantasies to be very different between the classes. So, for example, this healer we call a songbird and uses music to heal, but it's not a bard, but it's also not like a priest or a Overwatch Mercy either. The mage is in this party is the Tempest, which uses like storm magic. We want all of the classes to feel very different. There won't just be a sorcerer or a knight. I'm a big fan of games like Gloomhaven, Pathfinder, Darkest Dungeon, where the classes are really have a little bit of a twist to them. Like, they're identifiable, but they're also a little out there.
So I'm currently playing the Dreamblade. I know that we're currently like level 1 and level 2, but I also know that the abilities we all have now are not what a level 1 Dreamblade would have, right? It's gonna be a tutorial, progression, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
If I was at this stage of the normal gameplay with this many abilities as a Dreamblade, does every Dreamblade use these exact same abilities at this level, or are we gonna have more abilities than we can use, and we have to select?
I love
some
Josh
and bring them
Strife,
in?
man. He's great.
How is that process gonna work?
He's my favorite
The thing we're
MMO
playing with
creator.
right now is this idea that as you get closer to the end game, you pick up weapons, and weapons in this game are class specific. Like, there's no other class that uses the greatsword. That's the Dreamblade's thing. So if you find a greatsword, it can affect the Dreamblade rotation, and it might do things like changes your Q into a different kind of Q that does fire damage, or changes into a ranged attack, or things like that. We also have an item slot called a talisman, which is pretty similar to the Dark Souls style talismans that like might do very radically different things for your character. And we're hoping to get that depth through those kind of builds so that people don't, you know, 2 different Dreamblades at max level would actually play very differently.
Kind of like the runestone system from Shadowbane back in the day.
Yeah,
almost
yeah,
like
that's another good
subclasses.
example. Yep.
Cool. Okay, I like that.
Like
But
Guild
if
Wars
we
2.
can't, you know, if that isn't enough depth, we will also look into like, well, maybe you have a different ability you can slot in or things like that.
I do hope
Sounds
you don't mind while you guys are talking that I am answering questions that have been answered already in my chat, just like typing them out and being like, oh, they said this.
I'm just watching you fly around.
Yeah.
Go on then, Co. Run and attack the boss. Let's do this.
We don't really have a tank, so we'll see how this goes.
That's fine.
I believe in them.
They're about to fight the boss.
Okay, I got this.
If we just kill the boss fast enough that
Good plan,
our HP
Joe.
doesn't matter.
Just kill
It's
the
a
boss.
wind
Frontal
up and a
cone?
half. I like that.
Frontal cone AoE.
I don't think anyone's
Alright.
fallen yet, or if they have, I've missed it. But we do have a system where you can run
So
over
Caw
and,
is tanking.
and get an ally back up again if you do it fast enough.
Counter.
So death
Caw's
is-
tanking.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm very stunned.
Oh,
No
was
one's
that
doing
AoE?
it,
My
which
rotation.
is, we're not running any kind of hacks. We're not running infinite health. We're not doing a better healer. Everyone is playing legitimately.
Yes,
Oh, by
if
the
you
way,
die, you die.
as
Hello,
One small
Sanku.
suggestion to the devs, since it does look like countering is going to be a huge deal in this game, it'd be awesome if we could get some kind of ability loadout towards the center of the screen, so we don't have to kind of stare in the bottom right for our rotation. Warframe does
Exactly.
it so well with the dots. but
He's
just some
right.
Kind of,
He's
'cause
right.
This is very. For those that aren't seeing, I'm using my Q ability to build up my mana, which I'm then expelling into my E ability to try to burn the recast of my 1 ability. While
Yeah,
keeping
look at the
cooldowns
bottom
of 2
right
or
of the
3
screen
down and 4
for
up right
abilities
now. So
is
it's
like-
you have to kind of. There's a lot of balance.
I'll move my
going on. You
camera.
have to kind of watch to see. Like I'm having to stare at that 1 to see if the cooldown actually goes off.
Yeah,
so
do you mean
it's
the
Yeah,
really
like
focusing
looking at
down.
the screen here.
Reset by the big slash.
I'd
that
love
sound-
to
that
be in
sound
the
always
middle.
go off when
I
you
hope you can
counter?
customize it.
There is an audio cue.
There is an auditory cue.
Yeah.
Okay, great. That's going to be very helpful.
I should have moved.
But you're
that.
right that we may also let players like move around elements on their screen. Oh, there's someone. Yeah, Joe Campbell.
Yeah,
there,
good,
now is
good.
being revived. Well
Yeah,
done. Thanks.
it's purely because I just wanted to demonstrate it, not because I.
Completely. That was very considerate.
For the benefit
man.
of the
Thanks,
audience,
Joe.
of course.
Yeah, what a guy.
To
What a
one for the
guy.
team there.
Nice dodge.
Wow.
There's like dashes and
Someone has
dodges.
said so far the most realistic part of this is they've not managed to find a tank for the group content.
Double DPS.
That's
there.
funny. Who needs a tank? Just full
So
DPS.
assuming we finish this, we could at least start a second zone, and we could choose medium difficulty if you guys feel up for it.
Because that
This,
went
this-
so well when we practiced
Oh yeah,
it
without a
last
tank.
time.
That sounds like a great idea.
If you want to stay on easy, that's fine. It's your game.
No, yeah, do it. Do it. Let's see what
Off you.
happens.
I'm down.
I mean,
No.
worst case is we can reset and go back to easy if it doesn't work.
Speaking of difficulty, actually, that's one thing I wanted
Reached
to bring
level
up.
3.
One of my biggest, strongest feedbacks during my playtest.
Cool.
On account of that, those difficulty options.
A lot of
and,
weight to
my
movement
concern
as
is
well.
The risk that you may have some people choosing normal that may be a bit overtuned for them when they would enjoy easy, or they might pick easy thinking that normal might, be a slog, and then easy becomes a bit too easy. Is there an intended difficulty experience that you want to funnel players toward, or the main one that you're using to balance rather?
Probably
Joe
not. I
Cat,
don't know how many difficulties
Josh
we'll ship
Strife.
with, and of course you can imagine medium and hard will give better rewards as a reward for taking on the tougher stuff. So we'll let players opt into it, and because a blue zone is relatively short, if they choose wrong, it's like not that big a deal. They can wipe or reset and go back.
All right.
So what Juno is doing here is building a portal, which is just a quick way to get back.
Why thanks.
And then eventually
Very
here you would
interesting.
actually like climb back onto your ship and sail away. We haven't built the ship yet, so you are now invited to. You can close the shard if you want and cash in your mana right.
And doing that
And then imagine
showed some
here,
key
instead of a
art
loading
during the
screen,
loading
you're
screen.
flying
I'm
back.
not sure if that was meant to be shared, but it has been.
Yeah, the loading screens are fine. We won't have loading screens. Like I said, there will be a ship flying back to the town.
Mm-hmm.
This is our city. This is not at all what our city will look like. Our city is super dope looking, but we need a place for the playtest for people to stand.
It's still
it has
early.
target dummies and vendors and things like that.
It's like
Some
Fellowship.
of these are still Unreal assets. that
No,
don't
it's
match
like
our
an
art.
actual full MMO, but it's not complete yet. It's early, like very early.
Stuff and super specific engine limitations and whatnot. I think it's very important to reiterate. Almost nothing you're seeing right now is the final product.
Yeah.
This is a very, very, very early part of the process. 18 months, less than 18 months work has got us to this bit.
There's so much more for this game.
Okay, so that's cool. So I actually warped away and I can see you guys firing flares from all the way up here. That's kind
This
of
is
fun.
literally just the
I don't
start.
think I can see the model, but I can see the flares.
Used to be like when I started in game development, we would call this phase gray box because literally everything was a gray box. You'd have to say like, hey, pretend that gray box there is a dragon and go fight it. One of the nice things about Unreal, and particularly the
Hold
marketplace,
F
is you can just go get
counterattack.
assets. You can go purchase them for relatively little money. So these are not.
How far can you
like,
currently
our
zoom out?
trees,
That's a good
I don't think.
question.
These are Unreal marketplace trees, not
Yeah,
unlike
animations
the
are
trees
good.
in the Blue Zone, which were actually made by our artists. So
a
you see
lot of
Juno's
this is-
stream here. This is opening up the atlas, which will decide which map we're going to next. And she is picking medium difficulty
Cool.
for the follow-up. Another thing I wanted to
30
point out here were
classes.
the shard echoes. These are mutators that affect the entire map. So on
I
this map,
actually
it
don't
looks
know.
like occasionally
Is
a
it
hammer
30
will fall out of
classes?
the sky that you need to avoid.
It's gonna be 30 classes
and
on
if you're clever,
release?
you can try to get the hammer to fall on enemies. Let's see what the second one is.
So the first time we tried to do this, it was the echoes that really made it difficult. What's the
Can we level
purpose and the
multiple
point of the
classes on one
echoes, and
character?
How varied are they going to make the
Or
blue,
do we have to
blue
roll
zones?
alts? That's a good question.
The echoes are just another way to make sure that the blue zones feel different. It's
I think you need new
a
characters.
zone-wide persistent effect. We had one the other day. It was really cool.
That's
which
what
is that the
FF14 does really
trampolines
well.
Had double the normal height, so we built a lot more trampolines than we normally would
The
have.
Drift Atlas.
Looks like the other echo you got for this one is enemies will explode on death. So keep that in mind to get out of the way once someone falls.
So we have exploding enemies and hammers falling from the sky.
Huh.
Okay, cool. So just don't stand still.
And medium difficulty, so we'll see how this goes.
Right, so all the enemies are also
Okay.
tougher.
Tougher enemies.
This is gonna.
And I think Joe Cat asked about dynamic difficulty. Overall, we will have blue zones that are like, you can pick a level 6 blue zone if your party is around level 6. You'll also start to see like more appropriate enemies. Like you wouldn't expect to find a dragon in low level zones. You'll be fighting, traditionally in MMOs it would be rats or crabs or something like that. We'll try to come up with our own twist to that. And then you'd fight more powerful, epic things as you get
So
higher
the
level.
objective in this one is actually defend an NPC from waves of enemies, not defeat a single boss.
Exactly.
Waves
And we'll
of
also
enemies.
have objectives that are like find
Objectives.
an item or maybe
You have gliding.
escort an NPC if that's not super frustrating or something
Like
like
Guild Wars
that.
2.
I'm being attacked
wanna have
already,
very-
so
I
we're
hope you guys
already in
are ready
combat,
to
guys.
fight.
Good luck.
Here we go.
These are Undreaming. This is our version of Undead.
Oh God.
We call them Undreaming because they die from lack of sleep rather than being just skeletons or zombies. But
Oh, I'm
the
gonna keep one
husks,
of
which are
those
the
then.
melee ones, are actually pretty weak. So hopefully you guys
Ooh,
can take
like
them
that.
out.
Is that his ultimate? R?
I believe I may be an
Ranged
Undreaming
casters
then.
are much more powerful. That guy in the back is
Leroy.
called Lamenter, and he's casting spells. And there's a counter.
We got this. Easy.
All right.
So they're level 4.
Oh my gosh.
Have they mentioned alts and how that works? Yeah, I really want to be able to play more than
I'm
one
very
job.
much focusing right now. Hang on.
I want to play Rogue. Is there Rogue? Do we even know what the classes are?
You can tell when
Malu?
shit got real. No more chatter.
I know, right?
Nice.
Any
knockback
plans to
from
combat
Blue.
no tanks issue that existed in every MMO aside from Guild Wars 2
We
not
don't have
having?
crowd control. There's not a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
mean,
it in
Guild
the
Wars
game
2,
yet, and mostly we're
like
we're
you have to get toughness.
stuck with stuns.
So is
but we
there
wanna have,
tanks?
roots and snares and other ways to stop both enemies and players in PvP.
I feel got that corpse explode. So
They responded. The actual... We're not done yet. We should probably be the worst MMO right now. Lol, lol, lol. They're actually responding.
Yeah,
That's,
I think
that's them. That's the
most
creators of the
impressive thing,
game.
Definitely from the previous playtest to this one is just seeing all the different
So
variations.
they're answering
that you
all
guys
of
have
chat.
when it comes to blue zones. And you know, in my video covering the
That's so
previous build
cool.
of the game, that's exactly what.
Look
I
at the
was hoping for.
transparency, dude.
It's just like more variations. Things
They're
like
showing the game
echoes,
so early and
like the
talking with
radiant
chat.
beats, like the different objectives. I feel as though that's the right direction to go with blue zones.
Blue
There's
zones.
this framing that people who work in proc gen talk about, which is you can generate 3 different bowls of oatmeal and say, look, these are totally different. The oatmeal is configured in different places, but a player just sees that and says, like, those are bowls of oatmeal. So you can't just move a tree to a different location and expect players to be excited about that. The experience, the gameplay really has to be different for it really to feel like,
This
oh,
is
this is a different
5
experience.
husk, so good luck, everyone.
I'm gonna
Oh,
get
yeah.
Oh,
rid
you guys are
of
level
the
3. I think you're fine.
dust boils. Now here's an interesting thing. You guys have got environmental hazards as well in these.
What do you mean
dust boils.
FFXIV
Is that
copy
also
paste?
part of the generation, or
What?
is that more so like is that another aspect that is randomly
What is this
generated,
guy
or is that
yapping
tied to
about?
the undreaming?
This looks
Tied to the
nothing like
undreaming.
Final
The,
Fantasy.
undreaming spread by creating the dust boils, which then generate
Literally.
the dust, which includes the thorns.
Will there be fishing?
I should say the biome we're playing on today is called the Witchwood. We will have
I
multiple
hope so.
biomes when we ship the game. The Witchwood is kind of a Eastern European forest. So
I want to do
a lot of it
everything
is
I
like-
can in this game. It looks
with that
it
kind
looks
of
fun. I'm
grim
gonna be
fairy
honest.
tale
It
idea
looks
in
fun.
mind.
It
So
does.
The Undreaming, they have
I'd play
like
this.
deer skulls for heads, and they grow thorns around
I just need to
their
know all the
camps.
classes. It'd be so cool to know all of them. Like, I don't know how.
Like Gino has found a little tent. Is
I
there
definitely
something
just
in the
want to play
tent?
Rogue. Why are people getting
You guys
rage
feel like you're
baited?
getting into the rotations a little more than the first time we played?
Yeah, without a doubt. Now I know what resets what, but Ko is right that we need a visual kind of hint that our reset ability has actually reset our other skills.
How are you guys planning on doing servers? Are we going to be picking individual servers, making sure our buddies pick the same one? Can everyone just play together easy?
We want to play together easy. We realize you lose something in the spirit of like backing up. Traditionally, MMOs, one of the ways they were super cool was like every server had like a different community feel and different people you would meet on the server and things like that. And I love that feeling. I just wonder if it's a relic of a bygone era because you have server
limited.
transfers, you have dead servers. I think today people just want to be able to play with their friends and not be like, well, there's a queue on the server I want to get into. So we will probably, we'll have servers behind the scenes, but it's not something players will
Okay.
have to worry about.
There will be. Okay.
Someone asked, how will inventory work? Weight limit, slots? Like a
Yeah,
bag system like
slots.
WoW, or just a set amount of
Slots. Yeah.
Right now we have a bag system, much like WoW.
Okay.
I don't think it will be weight based
Like WoW.
or Diablo
Oh, my
style,
eyes.
like size of the item based. TBD, like what do we need in the terms of banks or we've talked about maybe you have a shared cache among all the characters on your account, or those are just features we haven't gotten to yet.
Interesting question in the chat. People are saying that if you're locked into a specific class when you choose your class, how varied are the Radiant feats within Blue Zones going to be to make each Blue Zone a different gameplay experience? Because the fun of a roguelike comes from building a new group, building a new style of play every time.
Yeah, right now the Radiant feats are not class specific. It's something we debate a lot of, do we want to go down that route, or do we want to do more class-specific stuff through like the weapons and talisman system I was mentioning earlier?
Gotcha.
Another idea is
Okay.
role-based feat. So like the healer character might have a different choice, but every healer would have the same, the same set.
Cool mechanics.
If I could make a suggestion to consider, perhaps there is a Radiant feat to get rid of that restriction. Maybe.
Which restriction?
The like, should you go down the roles or class-based restriction of like these?
Just say like now
there could be a Radiant feat that just like you get other classes Radiant feats.
I think
there
that
is
if-
an echo
I'm not
that
sure
gives
what
you more
Radiant
feats.
feats
Like,
are.
typically you get a choice of 3, but there's a one echo that gives you a choice of 5. You guys may have had that on the first map.
I think that if the blue zones are effectively the roguelike element of the MMORPG, then the more variation we can add
This guy
into
needs
it,
to
the
get
better.
banned, bro. He keeps yapping. Holy shit.
Yeah, we really want to make sure
Like,
players
just
don't
watch
get bored
or
of
don't
blue
watch.
zones. We
Holy
can't
cow.
afford to have players say like, yeah, I did blue zones for a while and now I'm kind of done with them. Like, then we're spending a lot of development time on something for nothing. So we really want to make sure it's the core experience of the game.
From kind of that core experience perspective,
I want to know what that what he meant by that.
Like, how are you guys planning on balancing the things that fundamentally make an MMO an MMO with like a big majority of the game being basically small group roguelike play? Like it sounds like, because that's going to be basically mandatory, right?
Yeah, it'll definitely be mandatory. We're hoping it'll feel more like 50-50, like you spend half your time in blue zones and half the time in the larger red zones.
So, like, and I asked this just specifically, kind of just like, is this an MMO or is this an MMO roguelike? Like, is this something different?
Some people
Because I feel like when you say MMO, you're thinking like big persistent world, like lots and lots. Like this feels like something else. I don't know.
Some people would argue that a roguelike has to mean that you are constantly like dying and starting over from zero, and you do progress here. You keep your loot,
You keep your
character
progression
level and things like that. So, you know, it's I know there's another term for that, a rogue legacy like or something. But we do, I mean, we want it to feel like an MMO. We don't want people who love MMOs to like reject this game and say, oh, well, this isn't for me. If it's not for them, then we've kind of failed.
So if like,
Okay,
that
their
traditional
goal is to make it
experience
like
is that
MMO.
more like just large scale play.
That's
is
their
there a
goal.
world where that roguelike component is less mandatory? So they can still have fun in that like more traditional MMO component part?
I think if there are players that really don't want to spend any time, I mean, they'll have to come to the
Not
blue
necessarily
zone
any,
some
but
because
just, you know,
there's currency
like
here, but yeah.
Yeah, like I was talking about earlier, like a lot of times you kind of get to, you spend, 300 hours getting to the end game and then you PvP sometimes, but your kind of main game is the MMO.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that's fine if players, like, particularly once they're at endgame, decide that what they really want to do is focus on PvP or what they really want to do is focus on the raid. Like, that's fine. We're not going to like twist their arm to do all the different features.
So there is PvP as well. That's cool.
Question. If we jump to this other massive land, can we get back to where we are now?
Always, went for it. Always
maybe.
by
Let's find out.
building a bridge.
Yeah, I'm right
or
behind you. Let's
something.
do it. Let's
You can also build the portal, which will take you back to the ships. There are ways
the
to
portal
get there.
takes us back, yeah.
Dude, I like the emphasis on building in this game. You can build a bunch of stuff.
I've
So
gotten
I
several.
happen to pick up the item, so I can turn in this quest.
Nice. I've gotten several asking this already. People are saying, Greg, where's the fishing?
Oh, that's a great question. Great question. 10 of 10.
Where's the
I
fishing?
mean, I'm the kind of person that feels like RPGs need to have fishing.
Yeah, there should be. It's just
How
standard.
exactly it works, like one of our artists said, hey, we're on this sky ship all the time. Should we build a fish in the sky? And maybe that's where the fish are? Yeah, so...
Terra, my beloved.
We definitely love to have
Massive fish
fishing.
with
And, I want to personally geek out by like designing, the biology for all of the things you can catch.
I did
Fishing.
notice that in the environment, kind of off the map, you guys
People
have
wanna
sky
do,
whales
like,
and sky
chill
turtles of
tasks,
immense thalassophobic size.
Get what was it, Xenoblade vibes right there? I like it.
Your
man.
ult
Let's do
increased
it.
damage down by
We
10%.
want the world to
Ooh.
feel epic and to remind people that you're not in like
Radiant
Middle
Force.
Earth or Westeros or something like that. This really is a
He just
new
mentioned
place you've seen
Westeros.
before.
That's cool. Watch Game of Thrones.
Oh,
Oh,
did
I
we?
found a radiant feat.
Oh, this is complete for this section. Okay.
Gives you XP for discovery, optional objectives, primary objectives.
So another question that's
helped.
coming up repeatedly in the chat is, with this being such an early build, why show it? And I think the answer is you're interested in the potential future players of the game being actively involved in the process of creation.
Yeah.
So just talk a little bit about how much you want the audience involved in the process of creation.
I mean, it is like fundamental to the way we run the studio to like make sure that players are, have a seat at the table.
Okay.
And
That's
that
cool.
we're building a game that they're going to be excited about, that we're not doing something dumb that's going to annoy them. we're not crowdsourcing the game. We're not going to have players like vote on features or things like that. But like the question, Ko was asking just a little bit ago of like, is this too far from MMO? Are we going to have a lot of people who are excited about this game ultimately reject it? Like, that's the kind of stuff that we want to make sure to nail. And if we need to like add more MMO features or make sure that the red zones are more front and center, like, again, I would much rather fix that before we launch than be trying to like panicky patch it in, before we lose all our players.
So one thing I do want to touch on, because this is a very interesting design philosophy for a project.
They're MMO first. Like, they're focusing MMO.
Having your project based on feedback is kind of like medicine, right? I mean, it's fantastic in the right dosage, but if you get too much of it, it's a poison pill. So take a game like The Culling, it over-engineered itself due to community feedback into basically failure. They were not able to properly go through the feedback and implement it in a way that made everyone happy, but they just kept trying until they ruined it. How are you guys approaching your filter for feedback? What testaments and trademarks are you unwavering on?
Yeah, that's a great
question, actually.
For starters, we have a very solid vision of the game that we want to make, and we have a very solid idea of who the audience is. So we're not trying to make a game for everyone. We've had some like more survival players saying like, well, I wish the building was a bigger part of the game, or we've had people say, well, I really just want to like have something like WoW Arenas and focus on that. And like, yeah, they may be disappointed. If you try to make a game for everyone, you end up making a game for no one. That's part of it. Is just be crystal clear on your audience and like what is core to the vision or not. Like exploration is core to the vision. And if we got a lot of feedback that said, well, what I want to know is just give me the map of the whole thing and show me where everything is, then I can just go to the next part. Like, we wouldn't do that, because that just kind of fundamentally violates the vision of the game.
Oh, awesome.
It's hard, though. I mean, there's something I've tried to do my whole career, is like listen to players, really understand their concerns and what it is they're trying to fix.
That's a good answer.
So that we can make a better game, because, we want players to embrace the game.
It's a very good answer.
If people come and they're like, this game's okay, well, gosh, we've just spent a lot of time and money for nothing.
That's exactly right. I'm glad you guys are thinking about that. We live in an age of too many of those games, unfortunately.
A game for everyone is a game for no one.
Question: who is the target audience for this game, then?
We really want to target.
Oh, I think he read my comment.
By which I mean,
because I mentioned target audience.
Players who love World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, Elder Scrolls Online, Guild Wars 2. Like, a lot of those games, are in some cases decades old.
Yeah.
And there's a sense that it's time for a new big tentpole MMO. And when we ask players, like, if we made a new MMO, would you try it? The numbers are, it's like 80% of players say absolutely. So we think the hunger is there and the timing is right for this kind of game. But that is really the core audience we're targeting. If we get a lot of people who love Warcraft and hate our game, we've probably made a mistake. Now, that said, we're not trying to take on WoW. We're not trying to say, don't play WoW anymore, play our game instead. And in some cases, we're trying to make a game that lets you fit it in, even if you have like a main that you mostly focus on.
This game's made for me, I guess. I'm the target audience.
So
he said FF14, Guild Wars 2.
About the narrative of the main game so far, not necessarily the gameplay of the Blue Zones, but the narrative of the story of Project Ghost.
Yeah, I would love to get into that. I'll probably say too much, but so clearly this sky full of these broken planets did not happen. It's not a natural occurrent phenomenon. Something strange happened that preserved the environments of these places, didn't just like disintegrate. At the same time, there were once
his audio's
gods
fine
in this world, like powerful deities, and they are all gone. And the players start out like not understanding why, like what happened, where did they go? There aren't like a lot of priests getting their spells from the gods. So the big mystery is kind of like, how did the earth break up and what happened to the gods? And part of the narrative will be like understanding that and like needing to understand it in order to like prevent really bad things happening towards the end of the story. I also want to take a little credit for, we are planning out a 10-year story.
Wow.
I only hope this game lasts for 10 years, but we wanted to make sure we knew where it was going. There were, I mean, I guess it's okay if I say this, there were times on World of Warcraft where we would finish, say, Mist of Pandaria expansion and be like, okay, guys, what next? Like, where are we going? And we didn't have, I think they do now, to give them credit, but at the time we didn't have a roadmap of where we were ultimately going with things. So for Ghost, we really wanted to know where we were going.
I think I found the boss.
10-year story, dude. It's like FF14 MSQ. They're like locked in advance.
Is this going to be through
That's
private
big.
blue zones that are story like centric? Is this going to be through raids and red zones? What's going to be your primary story conveyance?
A lot of it will be talking to NPCs in the town who will be some of the like quest givers and storytellers. Like in this case, we just told you go search for Callistra, Seer of the Dragonman Court. That's the primary objective. Maybe that actually comes from an NPC in town who's telling you to do that and gives you a little more context on why.
We don't want to. It's not a boss. It's just a big hammer.
We don't want to interrupt the blue zone experience too much.
Oh yeah.
With you know, cinematics or NPCs jabbering at you or that sort of thing. We want to do it more in downtime.
Oh, so this boss is a wave defense. Are we ready?
Oh.
Oh, here we go.
Let's do it. Why not? Let's give it a go.
Sure.
Well, I noticed one of us has brought together a Juno, sorry, the only person who has actually paid attention to bring along, because we completed a side objective that allowed us to have an ally. Is that going to be like? Do you plan to have other factions that you can ally with, or is that just a thing for these moth people exclusively?
There will be some people you can never ally with, like the Undreaming, the Undead, like they're not interested in being your friends, but we've even talked about doing it with wild animals, like you feed the panther a steak and maybe the panther joins you. And again, these are just for the rest of the blue zone, not something that will persist.
Okay, the exploding enemies and the falling hammers is making this very difficult.
But
Which
you
is
use it
good.
to your advantage.
This is what I wanted from blue zones. I wanted a bit of variation within the gameplay.
Pull the hammers onto other enemies.
Oh, do the hammers hurt the enemies as well?
Oh yes.
Oh.
As do the death explosions, I believe.
Is this like
cool.
fractal in singularities?
Yeah, much
in,
better
like
than
from
the
Guild Wars
Echo,
2?
where hey, you have twice as many enemies to deal with.
Oh yeah, that one was hard.
Yeah, we had to fire the designer that came up with that idea. So.
I was just saying that they came up with the escort quest, right?
I am sure we will come up with echoes and feats that are, you know, that are bad, and that's why we iterate. That's
Thank
why
you,
we play test so
Juno.
much. Crush us down.
Do the attacks lock you into place? I think most of the attacks do have an animation that kind of parks you, but some of the attacks are mobile. Oh, and you can also do like sprint attacks, and you can kind of jump and attack and do stuff like that as well.
We discovered that one of the classes, the Tempest, specifically doesn't lock you into place. If you jump and hold E to do their auto attack, you actually fly through the air.
Which may not be intended, but maybe it's
I was going to say,
cool.
probably
It's not intended, but you've got to keep it.
I really wonder about the
Dreamblade
falling
also, we didn't
hammers.
talk about
If there's
this,
like
but a lot
other
of times when you
modifications,
jump and attack with the Dreamblade, it actually
like
executes a
fractal and
different kind of
singularities,
ability. It's a
they
little
like
more depth.
change each
They're
day.
fighting
both
game-esque.
the attacks, yeah.
And fractals, they change every day when you do fractals.
We do not have much of a threat system at all. It's something we're building now, so that's a little bit of why you are seeing enemies just kind of, you know, sometimes pick a target and then switch.
Yeah, some we haven't commented on it, but some may note that none of us have picked the work in progress tank class, specifically because it is very work in progress. And
Oh
both me
my
and
god,
Josh
look at
had
all the
our own,
AoEs!
feedback that it's like,
Holy.
okay, this tank class is not ready.
It was very funny that I picked the tank class to try and see what it could do, and I said, guys, I don't feel this is working, and Joe Cat went, let me give it a go, and then after about 10 minutes he went, yeah, this isn't working.
Actually, without a threat system, it's hard to like lock down an enemy to attack you.
I
There's
was
a
going to
taunt,
say,
but
you're basically using a gun without bullets. I mean, you can only do so much.
this is interesting. Something that I'd love your guys' feedback on is one of the things I was trying to avoid is not having a lot of AE lockdown for tanks, because I feel like that leads to gameplay where the tank has 100% control of the battle the entire time. No one else ever takes a lot of damage because everything is always attacking the tank. And so trying to feel the right way to give the tank some ability, some like emergency buttons, without it being like everyone is always safe.
That's good.
So there's also, I mean, having abilities that
They
break aggro,
randomize the
having,
modification.
like,
It's
chronicle
literally
abilities to go
fractals. I
purposely
like
different
this.
directions on what they're attacking. A lot of boss fights, like especially back in EQ2, would have ads that would specifically not target whoever the tank was targeting, which would become.
How is this old school RuneScape? It's nothing like RuneScape.
So
what?
I mean, what's cool about this game is it doesn't really have to be like which one do you pick. It's just like those are all different. The limiters that could be in different blue zones, right?
Yep.
You can
It's
literally
not even
play with
close.
your aggro system as a modifier.
This is a WASD game.
People are asking in the chat, what's the focus on solo versus group content?
I'm one of those people that says, like, why do you want to play an MMO solo? Like, the whole point is other players. But I realize there are times when it makes sense. Like,
What? Yeah.
you just want to chill. You've had a hard day and you just want to kill
Just
some
wanna
bad guys.
solo.
Or your friends aren't online yet.
There
You
should be
wanna,
solo
like,
content.
Get something done. So we will allow you to solo, but we're not going to embrace the kind of player that says, I want to raid solo. I want to do everything solo.
Will you at least let them attempt it, even if it would be almost impossible?
Yeah, we won't like stop them from zoning in. It's just not going to be tuned for one player, and you know they may go to the.
I'm actually fine with this.
Say, I deserve to be able to fight this.
Yeah,
raid
like
solo.
raids are supposed to be a
Challenge
group
runs are,
thing.
always entertaining.
Yeah,
I just
someone's
watch
going to
or
solo the
play.
dungeons, and I want to see them do it.
I would like
Oh
to
yeah,
give a
that's
shout out.
great.
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
some people are gonna
Video
like
fodder,
solo,
for
yeah.
sure.
I would like to give a shout out to Wrath Games, who is currently going through the entirety of Final Fantasy XIV completely solo, complete synced, level synced as well if he can, and it is like art.
That's a great point. So we're actually hoping that some of the features of this game make it something that is very streamable or makes funny videos, because people will say like, look at this crazy combination of feats and echoes and enemies I found, and you know, hijinks ensue. Like, it's hard to create that sometimes in MMOs because everything feels so locked down all the time. But we knew making this game, we were going to have to just be okay with a little more unpredictability.
Not designing for solo is fine, as long as you still allow people to attempt it and figure out their own ways to do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, like, you get
So one
achievement in
person-
FF14 for doing
Sorry, you go
solo.
first. Go.
Just a quick one. Are you guys going to allow changing classes or new characters for every class?
I was just about to. Yeah, my chatter had the same question.
Oh, well, there you go.
Good.
Yeah,
So we like the idea
I
overall
like-
that you have multiple
I like
characters, and we want the
what
game
Greg
to feel
said.
very
Like,
friendly,
I do think
because
solo is
we want to
good.
make a lot of weird
It
like,
exists,
classes, and we want players to be able to.
But at the
feel
end of
like
the
they
day,
can
I
try them
want to
out.
play with other players
But
when I play an
I also think
MMO.
that part of the joy of an RPG is like you're making a new character. So like, we
Because
wanna
it's
have
a
multiple
multiplayer
races,
game for me. Like, I want to
different
play with other
appearances
people.
and
I want to
things like
raid
that.
with
So rather than
others.
just
I want to
kind of,
group with others.
Hey, I have one character that can do everything. It's like, just go make a different character if you want to have a healer.
And how alt-friendly is the game going to be?
That
Is it
should
going to
definitely be solo,
you
though.
have to put, you know, months into one character, or will you be able to level up a second relatively quickly?
We want to be as alt-friendly as we can. Like, down
Okay.
the level of we might even let alts, like, share inventory and splash experience and things like that.
Oh.
The way we've designed the campaign with the blue zones is you can replay zones. So once you've done the campaign, you can also just skip them. If you're making character number 4 and you don't want to play to the first 10 zones, just skip them and go to the 11th one and start.
Okay, good. You should be able
Just
to do
want to make
that.
sure you still actually play the alt.
It's like Guild Wars 2.
It such that,
It's like Guild Wars 2.
I only played
You
one
start,
character, and now all of my characters.
You
are
start with
third.
one
Like,
character, you do the
that's not
story.
What people are going for either.
and then you don't have to do the story on the other
I think we did
characters.
pretty well.
I have a personal
for medium
question.
even.
I have a personal question. While fighting this enraged hill chewer, why are the hill chewers so caked up?
Yeah, you
That's
put a
not
lot
a bad
of...
thing, by the way. Just like prop to the...
For the older people in my chat, he's talking about the derriere of the mob. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of junk in the trunk of the ogres.
There is. I would like to speak to the artists and shake their hand.
Careful, they'll jiggle.
We'll ask Bird and Val what exactly were they thinking. of
Maybe.
Hill Chewer Derriere?
Okay.
Why they make
Take
them
it
like that?
So now for the real question. We are Sky Islands with sky boats. So what kind of mounts will we be flying around on?
We like the idea of everyone having their own skyship and maybe multiple of them. You can have like a garage with different hulls and that sort of thing. We're hoping that it's the kind of deal where like when a group goes off, either it's the group leader or someone at random kind of gets to show off their ride, and everyone's, you know, admiring the cool sails they have and stuff. So in that world, we might have a few animals like a whale or something that's large enough for everyone to get on. but we probably won't get to the point where you're just cruising around on your manta ray or whatever solo through the sky.
And in that case, no flying around like inside of the zones and stuff, like no mounts in the zones.
Mounts in the zones is a very contentious point. We've gone back and forth on whether or not we need them. Right now, the gameplay feels quick enough that you may not need to like stop and mount and dismount. We did have one Blue Zone idea we played with for a while, which I'm sure we'll bring back, which is one of the NPC factions were dragons, and if you allied with the dragon, you could get on them and fly around, and that felt like super awesome because you don't get to do it all the time.
But then everyone would be dragon.
Dude, I'm so excited for the mounts.
How could you possibly beat that on any other faction?
Well, because
I just meant you would find some dragon NPCs and ally with them. It's only going to last for this map.
Yeah, I think
So
really
like choosing another.
I want to be able to like
That's
farm
cool.
mounts and farm.
I do want to compliment you guys on the design front. That
cool
is
weapons.
very clever. The fact that you have this variation gives you a lot of wiggle room to have things that are broken, things that are crazy, things that are weird.
Yes.
Because it's not going to stick around all the time.
Exactly. And sometimes you'll find a god build and you'll just one-shot the boss and you'll be like, wasn't this funny, and make a video of it, and that's awesome.
So the game is not finished yet. It's still got a long way to go. There's a lot of process. A lot of stuff might change. We've seen some systems that you're focusing on, like the Radiant Feats. What do you hope the audience take away from seeing this stream? Because you're going to get people that go, well, the game's not finished. Yeah, we know it's not finished, but what do you want the audience to take away?
Yeah.
First, we just kind of want them to understand the kind of game we're making and what we're going for, so that when we start asking for feedback, or hopefully we'll get more people able to play test soon, that they'll kind of know the right way to direct the feedback.
How soon?
If someone's like, well, I really wish your game was a first-person shooter, it's like, well, that feedback is perhaps not as helpful. But if someone says, I like the feats, but they're too random, well, maybe there's something we can do with that.
So at this stage of development, are you guys looking for and taking feedback on what is here, like on a public level, or are you guys going to be kind of like opening the floodgates on a day or event, at a specific place, specific medium, that kind of thing?
Honestly, we'll probably do a bit of both. Like, we would love to get to the point where we have, our own Discord. Maybe we do like Q&A streams or stuff like that, and just find out what's on people's minds. Like, I'll be interested to go back and read, not only the chat, but the feedback that comes out about this, and what players are excited about, where they have concerns, what parts of the art style do they like, where do we think they think we still need to invest. Like, all of that is really helpful as we decide what we're going to work on next. And honestly, and on that note, before we run out of time, I'd love to just get feedback from you all of like, what do you think we should work on? Like, what needs the most attention next? And then maybe, what's working well?
The enemy density in the blue zones needs to be tuned up about 10 times as much, because I like the combat, I just don't like the long runs between the combat.
Like jump from action to action.
I was telling the team to thin it out at one point, because I thought there were like so many camps, it felt like the suburbs, or it's like, let's go see what the Undreaming are doing. Next to them are some pirates or whatever. So
throw more enemies in. I want to kill more stuff.
Yeah, I would argue maybe not necessarily, like, I agree, more stuff between, but I would argue that it doesn't necessarily need to be enemies, like optional objectives, like the climbing puzzle that we did in the playtest, Josh, like, just like things to do in between, even if not necessarily enemies.
Gilbert had too many mobs, couldn't take, Tango Depths, Pocket Raptors.
In this one. And again, that's just part of the
they need to balance it out in a way. Where you don't get hit every 2 seconds, you run.
For me, the biggest feedback, I'd probably need like an hour or two of your time. I like my feedback is more on the overall vision of the meshing of these two significantly not different. They are rather complementary, but I just came from the game Dune. And they are having an issue with a schism in terms of the gameplay loops they're offering their community, and it's causing a lot of friction. And they got to a point where they're kind of too late to pivot, and now they're kind of trying to deal with it, and it's not a great situation. So the thing that I'm looking for here is I heard, Ghost MMO, I'm sold. Played the game, I'm here, like the roguelite stuff, like all that stuff, but my biggest concern is there going to be enough MMO in this for me? Because I heard main city. That immediately makes me think of Destiny, PoE, Warframe. Like that makes me think online small multiplayer. Not like every, not bunch of cities out in an immersive world that's always persistent, Like though I attach a lot of things to the term MMO that I don't know if it will be in this game, which is one of the reasons earlier I was like, I don't know if this really is an MMO because that sets all these expectations that I don't.
But their
immediately
goal
know
is to make it like an MMO.
offer. Not that what's here isn't awesome, but it's just like that's where
that's the
my
audience.
biggest feedback is I'd love to see more, like maybe even from you guys, like a letter of like, what about this is going to make me feel like I'm really playing an MMO and not just kind of another online action small player game.
Side note, while we're talking, I've found a mini boss, so if you could all converge on me, that'd be great, please.
Coming right now.
Thank you.
On the way. Yeah, I agree with
That's a
Poe there.
great point, because I had kind of chosen one city, because in a lot of MMOs, there are multiple cities, and typically 5 of them are dead, and everyone is in one, and then
Three
the others kind of,
and then every other one has single-digit players.
yeah. So I was like, hey, if we just have one city, we know everyone will be in it, and then we can give a lot of love to that city by having it feel persistent, having it update over time. Like I always tell the team this story, they're probably sick of hearing of like, you know,
I like this idea. It's like you explore. It's procedural, right?
The tavern keeper has adopted.
So every time it's different. Every blue zone, every time is going to be different.
There forever and do nothing.
The boss is going to be different places. Everything's going to be different. I like that. It adds replayability.
Lich, but still makes a fine villain for now.
I like that a lot.
What I think I was struggling with, and I had a conversation with a couple of the Fantastic Pixel Castle guys about this. I see, and correct me if you think I'm wrong in any of this, I see Ghost right now in two very distinct ways. I see it first as an idea, a project, a process, an MMO that's being made, that's being worked on with lots of potential. And as far as that goes, I think it's great. I think the potential is definitely there.
Yeah.
But I also see it as the actual gameplay slice that you've given us to play. And normally my review style is based on the gameplay slice that I have, not the promises of potential for what it's going to be. So I'm finding it quite difficult to critique it in my normal style, because I want to critique the game that I'm playing right now, even though I know this isn't going to be representative of the game that you're ultimately going to end up making.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just
We're
like to help.
Shipping this, and players aren't going to have to make a decision about do they want to play this or not. Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's even more interesting to add on top of that, that it's going to be so driven by community feedback that like none of us may know what it's going to look like at that point. Like it's
I remember her.
Interesting, very unique situation.
Yeah.
She did Elden Ring with Josh.
Of course, we'd also be happy to have you all back periodically to kind of check in and see if you still think the direction is good or if we veered off in a crazy space or something.
My biggest feedback is get that tank working, get that aggro system working, so that you can really know what you're working with in terms of the combat. Because like a lot of this is combat, and you know a lot of the classes, abilities interact with each other. So having the tank available, I think, will be very, very helpful for the playtesters.
I agree with Joe
Cat. I think we'll
Cat.
get to the tank online pretty soon.
I look forward to it.
I think the way that I've described it to people is this isn't so much displaying the ingredients that are going to be used to make a cake, as in showing the idea of the kind of cake that you may one day make and asking if this is the right process that people do want. So the ingredients can all be changed around and gathered. It's earlier than early right now.
Yeah, it's way too early, man.
A prototype. That's where we are, where we have to like.
This game's gonna be a while, man.
Put a lot of love and polish on them.
It's gonna be a while.
So what do you see the end game being? Because people are going to play it, finish it. What are they going to do ultimately? What's the final gameplay loop?
Good question.
We do want to have raids and challenging dungeons, just because several of us grew up on that and we love that. And I've even thought, I may have mentioned this.
Good, I'm
is there a
hyped
way
for
to
that.
put radiant feats? Like after every boss, you get a radiant feat. Maybe that would be fun. We also think there's potential to have like really challenging blue zones where you have to really plan out every single pull, because it's kind of brutal, and maybe we could even make them hardcore.
I like that, man.
Once, or we think again for end game, we think that might be a fun challenge.
Just out of curiosity, is there any lore basis for the roguelike stuff?
Not a lot. We've been figuring out what that is. Your characters in this world are something called a radiant, R-A-D-I-A-N-T, not like radiance.
Yeah.
And that's why we do things like when you glide, you have the big circle behind you. We call that a halo, because you're a radiant and you're somehow touched by magic that, again, you don't quite understand the origin, but you're more powerful than mere mortals. And so that's why they're called radiant feats, and we're trying to tie that into what it is about that lets you pick up the power. And we'll have an answer for it. It's just, this is one of those features that we added more recently and have to work the lore around it while there's still time.
Yeah, real quick.
Looks good, man.
The blue and red zones have nothing to do with PvP. Blue zones are the RNG zones. They're kind of procedural zones, and red zones are the more standard MMO zones. Yeah, like
exactly. Yeah.
Red
we
zone
just called
standard.
them blue and red because I needed a way to quickly differentiate them when pitching the game.
So, Carl, we're about to race downhill.
Won't even be in the final game.
Let's do it. I'm down.
Quick question, probably a very simple question. Why are you making an MMO?
Oh god.
We love MMOs. Like, it is my favorite genre of game.
And it's so hard
It's the
to make.
most social genre I think there is. Like, there are a lot of multiplayer games. I often say if you want a super competitive game, go play.
They're MMO players
Valorant.
themselves.
If you want a game
That's the
that tells
thing.
a great first-person story,
Josh
go
is
play
losing the
Expedition
race.
33. But MMOs, for the sense of community, for like seeing another player across a field and saying, that's a real human. And even if I never see them again, that's fine. Or maybe I join them up for a quest, or maybe we fight each other. Like, that magic of MMOs is what I really love, and it's hard to capture in any other genre.
I'll tell you one
It's
of the
ambitious, I admit. We could certainly have picked an easier genre.
So,
I'll tell you one of the strange elements. Go on.
Good single player expedition, good MMO, 20 to 30 year time machine in the past. That's what I'm hearing. This will be good. This will be very nice to have this year for sure.
One of the strangest elements, then, I think the audience will appreciate this, that I respect, is when a company know what they want to do, even if I give them advice against it. So I was talking to Chris Wilson from Path of Exile, and everyone knows that the Path of Exile skill tree is extremely intimidating to new players. And I said to him, do you want to maybe change how you portray that to new players, to not intimidate them
Like they play
as
their
much?
own game.
And he went, no, because the skill tree is a filter. We want people in our game who are going to appreciate this. If you don't like that, you're not going to like the game. And I thought, you know what? I respect the answer because he has a focused vision of what he wants it to be. So when I was chatting to the fantastic Pixel Castle guys and said, hey guys, an MMO is a really hard game to make. You could just make a mobile game or a single player RPG. And they turned around and went, no, we want to make an MMORPG because we love this genre. I kind of sat back and went, okay, then that's the best answer you can give.
Yeah, exactly. We love MMOs.
Guys, I really want to thank you for doing this. We took a lot of notes and learned a lot, and I can't wait to see what your various communities have come back with. Hopefully we'll see more conversations on the internet over the next few days.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks so much, and please keep in touch, and please come back and play with us more.
So just to reiterate to everyone watching, this stream wasn't to get you to pre-order or to support any kind of Kickstarter or to financially gain in any way. It was just
to show
look,
it.
We made a thing.
Yeah, you're cool. This is cool. Why don't we hang out and check out our game? Yeah, there's no call to action here. We just wanted to get a little bit of feedback and get the game in front of people and see their reaction.
That's a win in my book.
Really appreciate your time, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Joe Cat. Thanks, Josh.
Everyone who's been watching my stream, thank you very much for watching. You can follow Fantastic Pixel Castle on all of the socials. It will be linked in the Twitch, link to the video. It's on Twitter, it's on Instagram. They've got a load of cool stuff. And any more notice on the game, I will let you know. Everyone in my stream, thank you very much for joining. I will see you guys later. Take care.
Real quick, Ghost, one final thing. If somebody was watching today, they're super interested, they want to be ready to start giving that feedback as soon as you're ready, where do you tell them to go? What's your main point of, do you have a Discord, website, forums? Where are you sending people right now?
Yeah.
We don't have a Discord yet. It's something that we do want to build up, but it does require some work.
Yeah.
We'll see it on social media. We're on Twitter X and Blue Sky. We have you can hit up me. You can hit up our official at Fantastic
Twitter
Pixel
X.
Castle. We'd love to hear feedback that way, but we'll probably find it anywhere you are on the internet.
Perfect. Thank you so
linked,
much, brother.
Sweet. Cheers for joining, guys. You guys have a great night. Take care.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye. That was fun. That was cool. That's the game, chat. Wow. Holy shit. Clap. Okay, that was good. I'm gonna be honest, chat. I'm gonna be honest. That looked like a decent game. That looked decent to me. I mean, it's very early. I mean, I think you give it time, it's gonna be really, really fleshed out, really fun. But yeah, it's very early. I'll support the game for sure. I will support this game. I think it's really good. But yeah, that concludes it. Fantastic Pixel Castle. That's the company name. Great stream. Great stream by Josh Strife, and of course by... Oh, are they still live?
These are mutators that affect the entire map. So on this map, it looks like occasionally a hammer will fall out of the sky that you need to avoid. And if you're clever, you can try to get the hammer to fall on enemies. Let's see what the second one is.
So the first time we tried to do this, it was the echoes that really made it.
Oh, okay, they're actually done. Okay. That was good. Good stream, good stream. Alright, chat, I'm gonna go play something now. I'm gonna go play something. Good stream. I'll be honest, it does look good to me. Like, I thought it looked good. New MMO, baby. Looking forward to it. I'm gonna support them, okay? Fantastic Pixel Castle. Still very, very early in development, but I am really looking forward to it. It's gonna be a win. This one, Blue Protocol, Star Resonance, and the Riot MMO. I feel like these are right now the MMOs I really, really want to play. I'm happy with this. I'm so happy they brought in Josh Strife. Like, I really, really like Josh Strife. I'm so happy they brought him in to talk about this, because he's always been the MMO guy. Like, he is the MMO guy, you know? Wonderful stream. Okay. Now let's go ahead and stream a game. Okay, what do I play now? I'm not sure. Do I play League? Marvel Rivals or FF14? Let me play some music first.